Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Around the Blockchain here on BitBoy Crypto, home of the Bit Squad, which is the largest and absolute best crypto community in the entire universe. My name is Jay Chains. I am filling in for DZ today because he filled in for me yesterday. We got a great show. There's lots of fun things happening in the crypto world. Some of us are richer than we ever thought we could ever imagine. We'll get to that shortly here. We got a great show. We got some great guests. Let's see who we got today. Gareth Soloway is in the house. Like to chat with him. Great perspective on the stonks. We got Mac and Cheesy. Love that. Tom Crown. He's got his shades on. And then last but not least, we got Benjamin Armstrong. Ben, really quick. I heard that you've got more money than Elon Musk right now. Is that
I am officially richer than Elon Musk. This is fantastic. I can't wait to see what happens. But yeah, down with Elon, up with BitBoy.
Cool. There we go. You might be the new CEO of Tesla. All right, let's go. Let's talk about what this show is. This is Around the Blockchain. If it is your first time watching, you will see that there is a little score down in the bottom box for the panelists here. If you are in the chat and you like what they say, drop a +1 and we'll give you some points. Whoever's got the most points at the end of the show is going to leave us with a little bit of a parting word, which is very nice. Always fun to get everyone's perspective there. Let's see. Let's see if you guys can like this video. Let's see. We got 256 likes. I know we're just getting started, but let's get that up right as we go. Like, subscribe, and don't forget to go down to the description of the video because we've got links to all of these guys' stuff, and make sure that you like and subscribe what they're doing. They work hard every single day to bring you crypto content, or at least financial content. I know, Gareth, you focus a lot more in the stock world than the crypto world, but all right. What are we going to talk about today? We've got our lightning round. We're going to talk about the Federal Open Market Committee and then wrap this up with Gary V in real life NFTs. I don't even know what that means. I thought an NFT is non-fungible, but let's get into that later. Before we do this, let's get into some market watch. Check some coin market cap. Now, we are going to have to jump to a different site because there's no way I could get through this seriously. Why we said Ben is the richest man in the world now is if you look at coin market cap, Bitcoin coming in at $789 billion. If you're a whole coiner, your day just changed.
But can we talk about Cocos?
Yeah, Cocos.
Cocos BCX is the new Bitcoin. There's no question about it. You want to talk about the greatest moment of free marketing in history? Cocos BCX. We don't know what to do, but I love me some Cocos. It's probably a scam, so I don't really love it. It may not be a scam. Maybe it's great. I don't know.
The flipping. We didn't know it was going to be Cocos. We thought it was going to be Ethereum, but Cocos coming in from left field.
Everybody's gotten it wrong.
I predicted a flippening by the end of the year, and once again, I am correct. All of my price predictions, they all made it.
There we go.
They're going to take that out of context and slam you for it later. Don't worry.
I'm sure somebody will clip that and do it in the wrong way. But all right, so let's just get into this for some seriousness. So $2.3 trillion is the global crypto market cap. That is up about 4.1% in the last 24 hours. Some actual prices of Bitcoin coming at 48,557. ETH still struggling to get up over 4,000. Tether again holding strong at $1.01, and that's like 1% on your money if you're heavily invested in Tether. So good on you. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into the lightning round. I always like the lightning round. Get everybody warmed up here. See if we can start giving away some points. Tom Crown, I'm going to go with you first on this. Was there a sound effect that plays?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I heard one.
Okay, I don't. Just the way this is all connected, I don't get to hear it. I just assume with that lightning there was something cool going on there. BJ always hooking it up. All right, Tom Crown. When the bear market happens, what kind of bear will it be?
Hopefully not a hungry bear. Man, it's gonna. The one thing about the bear market is that nobody knows it's the bear market until, I don't know, maybe halfway through. Everyone remains bullish. Knock on wood. It's like we could be in the bear market now because we don't think we are. I'm gonna expect what we've seen in the last cycle. Bunch of sideways trading, bunch of pain, bunch of bleeding, really just boring people out of their bullishness until they capitulate.
There you go. Play the chop. You heard it here first. All right, Mac and Cheesy, when the bear market hits, what kind of bear? And you can say like a grizzly bear if you want, but it's like your own interpretation of a bear, I suppose.
Right. So I want to make sure that I'm getting the species right here, but I believe it's going to be a black bear. I believe the brown bear is the most dangerous, and I think the black bear is a little bit more friendly. So I think that this bear market is going to be a little bit more friendly to specific investors depending on where your money is located. I think Bitcoin and potentially Ethereum, the downward trend and that pullback for those two assets might be a little less severe than previous bear markets. I think with institutions, with the amount of building that's going on those networks, I think that's going to help prop it up a touch. But I will say, if you're heavily invested in the NFT market, you're heavily invested in certain altcoins, microcaps, I think the bear market's going to look a little bit more like a brown bear for those people.
There you go. I agree with you. Let's see what Gareth has to say about it. I'll repeat the question for you just in case you need it. When the bear market happens, what kind of bear is it going to be?
I think it's going to be the nastiest of nasties out there. I don't even think we've seen this type of bear before. So I just want to show you guys something that I've been kind of eyeing here in the charts. And this is just something that I want us to be. And I don't mind being the antagonist here and the one that everyone says, oh, this is horrible. I don't want to even think about this. But take a look at this. You have this head and shoulders pattern, right? So you had this kind of head and shoulders pattern back in April. And then you had the breakdown of the head and shoulders right here, which triggered the fall to 30,000. All right, now take a look at what's forming over here. It's almost a perfect replica. You have the up move here, the up move here. This is the head. And then is this a shoulder, right? And if this is the case, then what this tells us is that when this line breaks right here, you get a massive move down sub 20,000 on Bitcoin. And what's even freakier is that the top of the head is almost identical with a downshift here. And then look at right here. You have the same downshift with the higher high right there. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Hopefully I'm wrong for all of you out there that are holding Bitcoin. But for me, I am going on the side of caution. And I think it's going to be really nasty.
I would call you the bearer of bear news.
There
right?
you go.
There you go. Ben, what do you think?
Well, I tend to agree with Gareth. I don't agree with the timeline, or I don't think we're
Shocked.
going to see. Yeah, no, I don't think we're seeing the head and shoulders play out. But I do believe this is going to be the worst bear market that we've ever seen. I've said that before. But I'm going to go with what I think is obvious here. I think everybody, knows this, is that this is a panda bear. This is a panda bear right now on this market. And the reason is because they're extremely dumb, and bear markets are extremely dumb. If you didn't know this, if it wasn't for people feeding bamboo to pandas, they would be extinct. They're not even smart enough to eat on their own. So bear markets are really dumb, and I hate them, and I want them to go away. So there we go.
The second most popular answer I think I saw in the chat was the bear man pig. I don't know
The
how
bear
that
man pig. The
Ooh,
bear man
Ooh,
pig.
man
Yeah.
bear pig.
pig man bear. I guess it all depends on how you want to say it. Potato. To each their own. Yeah. All right. Let's get into the show. Everybody got their lightning round points. Congratulations. If you are liking this, please make sure, or if you are watching this, excuse me, please make sure that you like it, so that we know that these guys are giving you some good answers, some good information. All right. The Federal Open Market Committee, it consists of 12 members, 7 of them from the Fed Board of Governors, the president of the New York Fed, and four other Fed presidents that rotate. Let's see, Gareth, the money printer. This thing's been going non-stop for the past few years. Are they going to stop anytime soon?
There's a lot of pressure on them to do that. I've kind of gone on record saying that, Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair, he was just reappointed by President Biden. Biden has a midterm election next year, which means he has to get inflation under control so that the middle income, lower incomes will come vote for him and see that he's doing something. And based on that, my guess is the Fed is going to be more hawkish and raise rates, or at least taper faster. Overall, that's bad for equity prices as well as cryptocurrency prices. So yeah, I'm in the camp that the Fed, at least in the near term, will. I think it's important for all of us that are Bitcoin fans long term to understand that the Fed can never raise interest rates back to normalized levels because of the US debt. So they're going to have to just eventually go back to printing more money, doing all that, which eventually pushes Bitcoin. As bearish as I was short term here, long term, I love it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we know the more bearish we are on fiat, the more bullish we get on crypto. Ben, kind of give me some of your thought process on that, and especially when it comes to like the inflation versus deflation narrative.
Yeah, I think that this is, what we've been telling people for a long time to look out for. Everybody's inflation. We told you back over the summer that the biggest narrative in markets was going to be inflation. And that's all we've heard for month after month after month. It's weird, isn't it? Because last year, the money printer was going way more out of control than it is right now. We were printing like we've never seen before in the history of the world. But where was the narrative? Where were the warning signs? Where were the people talking about it? It didn't exist. It wasn't around. No one was talking about it. Over this fall, it has been nonstop talk about this. But yet, we've been seeing Jerome Powell came out like it was just a couple of months ago and said, well, we actually think, we're not going to be able to, we're not going to have to reduce rates until, maybe 2023. And people were like, oh, well, you're wrong. See, we're going to keep printing. And, they were saying a lot of stuff that, seemed to indicate that this was going to have to continue throughout next year. But now you're seeing the reversal. Now you're seeing them talk about these buyback programs, these bond buyback programs that we're going to have in the middle of next year. Now they're moving them up to March. March is Q1, by the way. This is not, even Q2. It's the end of Q1. And guys, we cannot keep printing money like this. You're reading headlines. You're looking at what they're saying they're doing, but to look at what they're actually doing, and now they're going to start walking back some of these comments. We will lose the reserve currency if we go through another year of printing the way that we printed. It will not happen. We're going to go through a multi-year phase of deflation. Is the only way to save the dollar. That will be the bridge to get us to the digital dollar, which will be the next world reserve currency. It will be, when you look back in history and 200 years from now and the way reserve currencies work, it's probably going to go Bitcoin, and before that, the U.S. digital dollar, and then before that, the U.S. dollar. That's probably the hierarchy in the pattern that this is going to go towards. And I don't know what the years are on this, but the only way we can save the dollar is to push it digital. We have to have a bridge in the middle. You move towards deflation. And once we get the digital dollar coming in, which will probably be the Coinbase dollar, to be honest with you, what we're going to see is we are going to see we're going to see the demand for dollars rise across the world. Once it goes digital, anyone can have access to it. If you live in another country, you can't just go get US dollars by making a couple clicks online. However, with the digital dollar, you will be able to do that.
That was news to me, and I like where you went with it. Thank you. I feel like I just learned something from you, Ben. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. That's why I do this, is for you.
Good.
Hopefully, you have so much to learn, Justin.
I know. I'm like a little guppy. If you're in the chat, if you're watching this live and you just learned something, hit a like, please, for Ben's sake. All right, Mac and Cheesy. What could happen to the price of crypto if the Fed took a hawkish stance on inflation?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things to consider. And if you go back to 2020 and potentially what sparked the bull run was this egregious money printing, and it pushed this entire crypto narrative. At the time, I was like, I personally didn't know if even Bitcoin was going to be able to survive COVID, because nobody knew what was going to happen. But then we started printing money, and we started printing more money, and we started printing more money. And now this crypto narrative became so obvious and clear for the long term. And I think what Ben said, the movement to the digital dollar, I think that's really the critical step that the US government should take into account. Like right now, every stable coin is pegged to the US dollar. It's not pegged to the euro. It's not pegged to a different currency. And that's an opportunity that they have to truly embrace. And sure, if they kind of come back on this inflation and they decide to kind of taper rates, whatever that may be, we may see an economic shift in the actual US economy, because then you're going to see these equity prices go down. And we know that we don't want to see that, especially stonks only go up. And that's what the policy is like. So I think it's important for them to taper that, but also decide to embrace crypto, because we saw in last week the conversations with Sam Bankman-Fried and a bunch of crypto people in that space. They actually were open to this conversation about stable coins. They were open to learning about how this could be the reserve digital currency. And if that's the case, now the US dollar no longer becomes the primary currency in the United States, becomes the primary currency across the globe. And I think Ben's point in terms of the digital dollar to Bitcoin, if we can kind of embrace and moderate to help empower that, I think that's the best step forward for the United States.
There we go. I like it. I like what you said about the meeting that they had last week. You know, Sam Bankman-Fried and some of the other, whether they're heads of exchanges or heads of projects. You know, they said that when they got out of the meeting, it was a lot more cordial than they thought it was going to be. You know, they were looking like it was going to be a really big headbutt session, but it ended up going a lot better. Hopefully, with that, you know, the steps that we take and the progress that moves forward is good for everybody. I think.
Can
all
I
of us
just jump in for a quick second there, Justin? I'm
Absolutely.
just curious, and I'm maybe missing something, but if historically we've seen countries that rack up a ton of debt like the U.S. has, now 30 trillion and growing. What they do is they print money to pay off that debt. So how do we get from them trying? I mean, how do we get out of debt as a country, or do we never get out of debt and we just don't care without printing money? And then how does that cause deflation versus inflation?
Well, I would say when it comes to the debt idea here, there are a lot of economists that will tell you that the debt doesn't matter at all. Because basically all of these countries are going to allow us, because where do we owe the debt to? It's not like we owe the debt to some creditor. We owe them to other countries. A lot of these countries we're sending money to already. And the biggest debt sometimes, so a lot of the money that we owe is actually to ourselves. That's why we have to keep raising the debt ceiling. But I don't think this matters, because if we were to default on our debt, it would destroy the world economy, right? And they cannot have that. And that's why the United States will never go into hyperinflation. Our economy is too valuable to the way that the entire world economy works. And if we were to default and all of a sudden we go into hyperinflation, the economy won't run in the world. We're too big of a factor. So the long and the short of that answer is that we are allowed to just continue making the debt bigger and bigger and bigger, because ultimately nobody is going to pop it.
Do you think eventually there'll be a debt forgiveness, like a global debt forgiveness, where it starts from scratch and kind of everyone just says, all right, let's go back to starting again?
Yeah, certainly when we're all in the Matrix.
In the metaverse.
Certainly when we're all plugged up and they're using our brains for energy, they will forgive all the debts. I think that's a great question, Gary. I think it might be a good idea for us to do a video on to kind of explore that idea. I think that is pretty interesting.
And I would say, Ben, that probably is not going to happen in the Matrix. I think, Tom, you might have said it. That's going to happen in the metaverse.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got it. Throw out those buzzwords.
Is it Gala
please.
or Gala, Justin?
Don't even start with me. It's both.
Is it Gala or Gala?
It's Gala. It's Gala. In this example,
if you're British,
it's
it's Gala. If you're British, it's Gala. I'm just talking about the word. I'm not saying the games.
Okay.
If you're British, it's Gala. If you're American, I'm just saying y'all should be saying Gala. Look it up. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Tom Crown, let me ask you a question about this inflation deflation narrative. Would that ruin the narrative of Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation?
I'm excited. I get to talk about this twice in 24 hours, I think, in a good way. So back when I started crypto, we had very different ideas, and those ideas seem to be not lost, but maybe they're just not the focus point. It's very tinfoil hat, very doomy. Look at the Genesis block, the Times, January 3rd, 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bank bailout, or something like that. Bailout for banks. Bitcoin's narrative from the start has been kind of maybe the hedge, or has been betting on this economic crisis. People really don't talk about it anymore. It used to be all we talked about. The world economy will crash and currencies will hyperinflate and things like that. I think the logical answer is, if there's deflation, prices go down. I don't think that is necessarily going to hold true for Bitcoin. Prices, what are they? They're really comparisons of value between things. A certain dollar value is pretty irrelevant. A good example, you have a ton of total supply in a coin. It can be fractions of a cent, but that price doesn't really matter. What matters is its relationship to other things. In a deflationary scenario where we're seeing this weird global phenomenon where maybe the world's uniting to save the dollar, I don't know if I see that. Really, I'm still not convinced on deflation, but I think that may be still when we see Bitcoin shine.
We're all ready to see some shine. That's for sure. It has been frustrating for the last week or two. But anyway, thank you for your answer, Tom. I feel enlightened as well. You guys are wonderful perspectives on the inflation versus deflation narrative.
But Justin, I would say just real quick on talking about, I know a lot of people are feeling down about crypto, but a friend of mine just texted me. There's going to be some really interesting news here, and said that it has been confirmed that Satoshi time traveled from the future to make that glitch on CoinMarketCap to give us hope for crypto for this market.
Oh, so that's what we're. So, all right. So let me ask you guys a question. This will be another impromptu lightning round. Say this price is correct. Well, now it's back to normal, but it was $700 billion Bitcoin. What year is it to have $700 billion Bitcoin? Are we in the 3000s, the 4000s? Where are we?
No, I'm going December 2021. I mean, we said this was going to be one of the and obviously here we are. So
blow off top.
It happened. Well,
that was it.
I don't. All right.
They said
All right,
there
well,
was a $9 million XRP, right? $9 million XRP. I said $32,000 yesterday. People said I was crazy. $9 million. Look at that.
Everybody's right now. I think that would be like what 100 or 1,000 times like the total GDP of the world. So we're gonna have to start building.
It's like
what
debt
year is that? We're gonna be doing a
forgiveness
lot of
for
building between then
YouTubers.
and now.
Prediction forgiveness for
Ooh,
YouTubers.
I'll lobby for that.
Yeah,
Well, if
I'm
we
all for
do
it.
see hyperinflation, the US dollar value there could, that's not totally out of the ballpark if there is hyperinflation.
That's actually
Absolutely.
correct.
It
don't
could
think
be
it
done
will be,
alone
but
just on
It
inflation.
would be, if that was Bolivars, it would be accurate.
Exactly.
There was an interesting thing that used to, being a stock trader back years ago, there was something that would happen where institutions would do what's called a fake print in a stock, which would be $1 or $2, whatever above or below the current market. And you'd watch the market go right there. And we'd play these things in terms of trades of saying, okay, well, the institutions are telling you, they're signaling their buddies that it's going to go to this level. So we would jump on board. So you never know. Could be a fake print there signaling where it's headed.
Ooh. That's the conspiracy theory. All right, let's hop into this next subject for the day. Before we do that, make sure that you like this video. Surely do appreciate that. More people can find out what's going on here. So get down there and like it. Again, not for me, not for Ben, but for Gareth, for Mac and Cheesy and Tom Crown. These guys are out here working hard on a Tuesday afternoon for you. All right, let's talk about Gary Vee. Now, this one blows my mind because I get NFTs. I'm in crypto. I understand all this. But an in real life NFT, I'm gonna need someone to explain this to me because that's just like something in your life. That's right. That's just an object. Or am I thinking wrong? So Gary Vee and several others invested and raised over $7 million for a digital art display startup called Danvus. JP Morgan values the NFT market about $7 billion, and we all know that it's going to grow a lot more. Mac and Cheesy, I need help, not explaining, but a physical NFT. Is that a real thing? And would you buy one?
It should be. And in fact, I've been looking for a proper way to display my NFTs for over a year now. And because I want on my back wall, I want a way to verify my NFT and display it digitally so that it can be affordable and such that it can show that I actually own it. So in my imagination, right, and hopefully this is what's delivered sometime soon, is I have a digital display that doesn't necessarily look for like a TV, a little bit softer on the eyes, similar to that of a Kindle. Gary Vee, if you're listening, you can take notes for all of this. Similar to that of a Kindle, and it verifies, it takes a look at my MetaMask, I sign it, I don't have to give it my keys, I don't have to give it anything, and now it can iterate through my actual art that I own, and it shows that I'm the owner, and now it's displaying it properly. So right now I just have it on my OpenSea and the images are just there. I would love to have it on the back of my apartment and just have it displayed there. But right now it's kind of stuck in the metaverse on the internet. And I really want it. I want an image and I want a big thing to display my NFTs.
So now I totally get that. And I get the whole concept of, using, like you said, maybe something softer than an actual TV to display your art. And the way that this was explained to me like a long time ago was, you could have it be, my favorite NFT that I own is this. Now, when my wife walks by it, it would change because she's in the room. So it changes to what she wants. I understand all that. The way that it was explained to me is I've got this one of one in real life NFT. And if I'm thinking about this incorrectly, let me know. But this one of life in real life NFT, how is that still considered an NFT? Because it is fungible. I can touch it. It's what's that?
Well, so the in
That's
terms of
not
the
what
actual
fungible
asset,
tangible.
yeah,
excuse me.
tangible.
Tangible. I misspoke. My bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just move on then.
How
Then
about this, Gary? How about you give me that 7 million, and I'll give you the same gift I gave my grandma like 2 years ago. It's one of those little kind of rotating picture frames. And you just upload them. There you go. I think the idea is awesome. People want a way to do this. Obviously, the answer is like LED screens, right? But I think we need a verifiable way. Maybe there's some kind of LED screen with these images with QR codes. Maybe that combination, Gary, if you're listening. I don't know how else you're going to do it. You know, everybody wants to be able to show these off, but saving an image and showing it on your phone is not the way to do it.
Okay. So okay, that makes a lot more sense. So does this defeat the purpose of having, like your MetaMask wallet? Why show that when you can show it, in your art display, in a gallery, or the artwork in your house? Does it defeat the purpose of saying, "Oh, look at my NFT collection on OpenSea"?
I think that's why you need the QR code, though, or something. There has to be some other element incorporated that ties you to it. Because, everyone jokes about, oh, save the image. Cool. There has to be something tied into it where it's connected. And I guess visually, if we're going to be displaying them, that's a QR code. Maybe there's a better answer, but that's kind of what I've been brewing.
I think the impact of the in real life NFT is small fractions of that of the internet. I think your OpenSea portfolio, part of why people like NFTs is it's an internet flex, and an internet flex goes across the globe. And in real life flex only goes to people that are actually seeing the art, and that has limitations. But your OpenSea account can be seen by anybody at any time, all around the world.
That is definitely true. Ben, do you see that the NFT market's slowing down? Is it bear market proof?
Well, I mean, I've always said I think the actual value of NFTs themselves will fare better than the value of the coins that accompany them in a bear market. Because, I mean, if you kind of think of the dynamics of the way that this works, yes, in dollars, they'll be losing dollars. But since the value of, let's say, Ethereum, since the value of Ethereum will drop tremendously, it'll probably drop back down to, maybe $1,900, if not, if it goes to 10,000 eventually over the cycle, which I think it's got a good chance to do, assuming this is not the top, then, it could easily drop back down to about $2,000 or a little bit less. Okay. So the value in dollars is going to be dropping. So the overall value of your NFT is going to be dropping. I could actually see it to where the crypto value of NFTs rise when the dollar value drops. I think I could actually see that scenario happening. And then that's kind of like a way, a bit of hedging your bets a little bit with crypto in a bear market. So I do think that is something that we, are going to see. But also, while NFTs themselves, like if you think of the entire pie of people who are interested in NFTs, a large percentage of those, I don't know if it's the majority, but a large percentage of those are crypto people. Crypto people themselves will go away in mass when the prices drop. 2 years from now, we'll be looking at a lot less people being interested in crypto. So that the number of that pie percentage will be dropping considerably. And so, it is kind of hard to tell because there definitely won't be interest. I think what we'll see is we will see new projects launching in NFTs that will flop. And then pretty much nobody will be launching them, kind of like hardly anybody was launching coins during the bear market, during the thick of the bear market. They all failed pretty much. Few made it, but most of them failed. I think that's kind of what we'll see kind of the death of the new collectible NFTs. We're already seeing what looks like to be the death of the generative trait NFTs. We're already seeing those flop left and right at this point. That has already been milked. So will the question be, will we see other kinds of JPEG styles or collectible style NFTs also flop as we head into a bear market, because people aren't going to want to be parting with their crypto at all-time lows?
That's a great point. Yeah. All right, I'm going to ask Tom you a question. What industries industries are going to benefit more from NFTs, digital NFTs? Now, obviously take away the crypto space. Obviously you've got music, a lot of other things. What are the biggest industries that you think will benefit from the NFT boom?
You've got musical artists, you've got real estate, gaming. Those are the three that come to mind. I want to say something about what Ben just said. I gave the lady some Ethereum back in 2017, 18, I don't know. And she bought some crypto kitties. And so I can actually back Ben up here. Their value in dollars has, during the bear market had gone down, but I went and looked and they're not really super special ones, but their Ethereum value is virtually exactly the same. I'm not sure if I could get it. I haven't sold them, but I looked at it and it's like they didn't really go up or down. And so now it actually looks like a really smart investment on dollars, because dollar on paper is what I mean, because they've gone up. Ethereum has gone up and they've stayed about the same. Man, I messed that sentence up, but you get it.
It's all right. You and me both, man. Don't worry about that at all. Well, that's all the questions I've got on my note sheets for today. Now, traditionally, we don't let Ben win the show. So, Mac and Cheesy, I think we're going to give this one to you today. Sorry, Ben. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
I think Ben deserves it, though.
Yeah, I thought Ben did a great job today.
Well, he did a great job. Don't mark me wrong. I'm just saying we like to give you guys a win because you can leave us with a perspective as well, and we just like to hear what you got. So Ben, you did a great job, but Mac and Cheesy gets the win.
Good to go. I'm gonna start ripping.
Yeah.
So
where's the music, BJ?
As you get into I was waiting for the music. I was like, as you see kind of this pullback in the market, I think it's a great time and great opportunity to see where your exposure is, if you're overexposed. And because personally, I don't necessarily think this is the bear market, but the bear market will come. So take this as an opportunity to reallocate, change where your portfolio is positioned, so that way when the bear market comes, you're not too overexposed. But thank you everybody for having me on this show. Smash that like button and make sure to follow everybody in the description. Absolutely.
Make sure that you smash that like button. Go down into the description, follow all these guys, and you can learn something much like you did here today. All right, we'll see you back here on around the blockchain tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Have a good night.